So we're headed to somewhere.
We're headed to a town called
Espave to do a diagnostic job on a car that doesn't start, and I'm sweating this one because I don't think I have what I need to do it, and I don't know. I'm going with my friend John here.
Hey man, what's up? So you're not so sure we could fix it, but you're thinking that there's a chance we could at least diagnose it.
I'm hoping. If it's a no start.
Okay, what do we know about the car right now?
You know what we should have done? I wasn't thinking. We should have got some carburetor cleaner.
Okay.
Is there an auto parts store in our way?
It might be a Tajer or someplace.
Because I don't have a fuel pressure gauge. Okay. I'm not going to know if I'm missing fuel or not.
Why don't we get to the car, take a look at it, and we have our own vehicle. We can go and.
Well, I have a way to check for spark and injector pulse, but I don't have fuel pressure kit. I don't have compression gauges. I don't have wiring diagrams. All the stuff that you guys make fun of me because I have all this fancy equipment. Now I'm in some of your shoes. I have literally
You're
nothing.
in Panama and far from base.
I'm in Panama, far from base. So we didn't come here. This wasn't my primary purpose to come to Panama to do a single no-start diagnostic job on a car, but this is part of what I'm doing here and helping my friend John with his ministry. I guess we could call it a ministry, and just kind of giving back a little bit. So we've done a bunch of stuff this week.
Let's talk a little bit about why you're here. Why are you here, man? Why'd you come all the way from Pittsburgh to Panama to visit me and my family while we're on our way to this job?
Yeah, let this truck pass me.
Yeah, and what's your experience of driving in Panama?
It's been kind of crazy. I'm not used to kilometers per hour, and none of the signs, none of the roads are marked.
Let's just get a look at the roads.
It goes from 60 to 80 to 100, back to 60 to 80, and there none of the. It's not marked, and the cops will pull you over and give you a ticket,
and then really want your money.
And yeah. So yeah, why am I here? I'm here because of my friend John, who's holding the camera, and I'm sure, yeah, that guy right there. I'm sure you'll see some other clips of him too, but he has come down here as a missionary to this area, and his primary goal is to build and support churches in the area, and that's why he's here. He actually you just got here 2 months ago.
Yeah, we're brand new, and we're building a network of pastors of churches around here, and then trying to find out the places where churches don't exist yet.
And so we came really early on. We didn't really have a game plan or agenda, us getting here, and I brought my whole family, and primarily for me, it was about teaching my kids what it's like to have nothing and let them see this area. Not that this whole area has nothing, but let them see really what it's like to give back. I mean, really, if I would put one sentence on why we're here, it would be, I want my family to know what it's like to give back. And I want to give back. Am I turning up here?
Right here. Right where that black car's coming out?
Okay.
This is a town called Espave. And we're going to drive down through this neighborhood to this pastor's church and meet him.
We're still sitting here waiting for
Cesar.
And Cesar is the pastor of this little Baptist church over here to my right. Is it a Baptist church? Okay. And I guess it's a woman that's in this community right here that's got her car that doesn't start. All right, so John and I, we were just talking about what we're gonna do maybe next time I come down, and we were talking about maybe doing a car. I don't know what I want to call it, a clinic. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if we'll do a repair, do more repairs. I'll bring maybe one of my friends down. One of my former students was interested in coming, bringing him down. See if we can get some sponsors too with some equipment and.
Like a mechanic's mission trip.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. But then we were also talking about, we were at the orphanage a few days ago, and man, I really wish I could have brought you guys with me for that, because
Casa Hogar, special place.
Casa Hogar. They wouldn't let us bring the camera because these little girls, some of the girls that were there, and they're mostly girls because there's a concern of them getting together with little boys, and making babies
after a certain age.
Yeah, so most of them were girls that were there. Not all of them. I think I only saw one boy, but he was mentally challenged.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't let us take pictures because some of these kids are being protected, and it would be a real bad thing for me to show where we were.
Right.
We couldn't do that.
Yeah, if that became available publicly to view, then those kids could be put in danger.
Yeah. So it's okay to mention the name though.
Yeah.
Because we didn't show the kids that were there.
Yep.
And man, you should have heard this song when these kids sang. I don't know any Spanish, which kind of really is affecting me right now.
One of the girls has an incredible voice, and she offered to sing for us, and she got all the other girls to sing with her. They were singing about what it's like to be in the presence of God in Spanish, and she just sang beautifully. She did a wonderful job. 16-year-old girl. She's one of those girls who's also dealing with her pain in her life. And last time we were there, my wife we always bring things to do, and this last time we brought some stuff, but the time before she was painting her nails, and when we left, that bottle got broken, and this girl picked up the glass and started cutting herself with the glass because
that same girl that was singing.
Yeah, these kids are dealing with pain and problems in their lives that they don't know how to get it out, and so sometimes it just comes out in all kinds of wrong ways. So what we want to do is we want to give them hope, and we share the gospel with them, and then this ties into churches, because as we're doing ministries, our goal is to tie churches into it and have them pick up the ball.
It was really, really neat to see my kids really get especially my young ones, and my older ones too. I have four kids, and range from 16 down to 6 years old, and having them interact with these other kids. And my older ones were playing soccer, and my younger ones were handing out drinks and snacks.
Playing with Play-Doh,
and that was really cool. And what John and I were talking about too is maybe next time I come down is we're gonna take these kids take
them out for the day
to camp, a local camp. It's actually called a Word of Life camp. So some of you maybe know what Word of Life is and what that's about, but there's one down here, and we're gonna maybe take them there for the day and let them swim and hang out. And maybe we talked about sponsoring these kids to be able to go to this camp for a week.
Yeah.
And it's really, I mean, for us, it's $60 per kid for a week.
Yeah, that will feed them. They'll have a place to sleep. They'll get to play. They'll hear about the Lord.
Man, if you saw where these girls were, they're in like one room.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are beds in that place, but to be in this place, that's where you live.
Yeah.
Man, I was moved by that.
Yeah. Yeah, that room couldn't be bigger than like the normal living room in most people's houses. You know.
So we'll talk more maybe about that, and if you guys are interested in being on board and helping out with these little girls, or with what my friend John is doing. And it is what is Reach Global is the agency that works with John, and that is who really is the governing body, if we could call it that.
Yeah, that's we're missionaries with the agency of Reach Global, and yeah, if they want to know more, they can go to our website.
Yeah, and I'll put some links in here for John for his Following the Fowlers. Is that a blog or a website? That's a website for you, and I'll put a link in here for that if you guys are interested in being involved. I think it's really, really cool what John is doing, and it's really cool to be part of it. And a lot of it is from you guys supporting me and allowing me to support John, and it's just an honor to be able to give back. So that's why you're here right now with me. We're still waiting. I guess we'll just take a minute here and we'll talk about how I got to know this guy, and we'll do this briefly. So we started that just a second ago. Scoot your head in a little bit more. So you're chopping your head off.
Sorry.
It's going to be annoying to edit.
Let me move these.
Let me scoot you
crutches.
over. Yeah, John cut his Achilles tendon on a fence in his backyard right before I got here.
Just like 2 days before you got here.
It was really bad, and he's actually in a cast. It would be, your leg's not going to fit down. Yeah. So, anyway.
Which turns out to be really great that you came here at this time.
I'm sure.
But let's talk a little bit about the history.
Well, this guy saw me at church and thought I would be cool to get to know. I'm not sure it was frosted spiked hair must have been,
You
because he
look-
had that too.
You
But
look like you could relate to young people, and I was curious about who you were, and I thought maybe he could be a good youth leader.
yeah. So he calls me a bunch of times, and I'm like, no, I was too busy, whatever. And this guy, he wouldn't leave me alone. So I just kind of flat out told him, I'm like, look, man, I get high, I smoke weed, and I can't help you with the youth group. And that just kind of, I don't think he knew what to say.
Yeah.
So that was our.
And I think you thought it would scare me away.
Well, that was my goal. I was like, this will get him, and he'll stop calling me.
Yeah.
I'll just be up front. And so anyway, John was, if I look back in my life, pivotal moments, it would have been that moment, because I was ready to quit. I had been a 20-year pothead at that point in time, and I was just done with it. But I did really needed that one thing to put me over the edge, and it was accountability with him, and actually it was the kids at church. And
yeah.
so I let it go, and that was really the beginning, if I could say, of my honest, true walk with.
How many years ago was that?
Well, I had a little relapse too, so
Sure.
it was 2.5 years when I was serving with you, and then I had an 8-month binge where I hid it from everyone.
Yeah.
And then it's been over 9 years now since that.
That's cool.
So, and really what it boils down to is pot is not my God any longer. Do I crave it? Of course. Self-medicating is a fun thing to do, but what I've learned is that Jesus is more important than all of that to me. It wasn't my wife, it wasn't my kids, it wasn't my jobs that kept me from it. It is getting to know something bigger.
Yeah.
There's more to come, and that's really where I'm at. That's what makes me tick. And
Yeah, so if you think Paul's about cars, you should see him about the Lord. That's why he's here, and why he's left Pittsburgh, and he's thousands of miles from there, down here in the heat, the blazing heat of Panama during our summer season, when you're sweating just sitting still. And he's looking for ways to help us start the ministry and build connections. So, we're sitting out here in this random neighborhood waiting to work on a car, just so we can help one of the local pastors with his relationships, and it's all because of the Lord. That's what it comes down to.
that's cool.
It's kind of a weird, twisted network of relationships and connections, but
Really is.
it works.
Well, I'm reminded of my life verse, which is Romans 8:28, and it says that all things work together for good to those that love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. And I'm thinking of my past and my life as a kid, and why I became an auto mechanic in the first place, and hating school, and no father, abusive stepfather, and all this stuff. And here I am on this path that He's just made all of it right for me, and well, because I let Him too.
Yeah, and learning how to take the gifts He's given you and give them back.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. And I know this is really weird for you guys, but this is who I am, and this is me giving back, and I'm not ashamed of my faith. I'm not ashamed of it. And I know there's a lot of people that have differing faiths and differing opinions, and that's fine. I'm not here to criticize or tell you, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, be a Bible thumper, one of those kind of people. This is just who I am. This is what I believe, and I think a lot of you know that already about me, and this is what makes me tick. All this other stuff is going away. Money, resources, homes, life.
Mm-hmm.
There's more to come, and for me, it's about not storing up my treasures on earth. It's about storing up my treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy. And we're talking about eternal treasures, and I think those are built and earned by helping others and sharing the gospel and really showing people what truth is. There's so much false out there today, right, John? I mean, that how do you know what's right? There's a foundation. Look, I've said this a lot to a lot of people, and you can't. We fix cars for a living, right? We could not fix a car if we didn't have a guideline to follow. If I didn't have absolutes to follow, I would not be able to do troubleshoot because everything that I do falls back on an absolute. So for someone to say, well, I don't believe in Ohm's law, they can say that if they want to, and they can really genuinely not believe in it. But the fact is Ohm's law is what teaches me how to troubleshoot electrical circuits. That's my backup. It's my default. Imagine doing cars without an absolute truth.
Yeah.
Imagine doing life without an absolute truth.
Which is way more important than cars.
Right?
Right.
Well, you could say, well, I believe in gravity, and another guy says, I don't believe in gravity. And the guy that doesn't believe in gravity believes it with all of his heart. But guess what? He jumps off the building. He's not flying.
Gravity believes in him.
I don't care what his belief is. I believe the spiritual life is the same way.
Yeah.
There are absolutes. There are absolute truths. And that's what I'm about. And it's up to you guys to find it.
Yeah.
Search for it, you'll find it.
Yeah. It's cool.
Any other thoughts? Since we're done preaching?
No, man, I think
Maybe we're
cool.
not done preaching.
I just think it's cool for people to know that your audience is used to hearing about cars and used to seeing you talk about other stuff, but I think it's neat for them to see a personal side, a deeper personal side of your core. What your core is made of.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared, but...
No, you're not scared.
I'm not scared.
You're not scared of this. Not much. I don't think much scares you. The only thing I can think of, honestly, is not being obedient. That scares you.
Not being obedient would be right. I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant, on the other side. So I am proclaiming him. He says, if you confess me before men, I will confess you before my Father. That's what I'm doing right now. I am confessing the name of my Lord Jesus Christ. A name that is above every other name.
It's cool.
Thanks for letting me rant.
Thanks for being here.
Where is this person at?
You can call them.
Are we in Panama? What did you say, Latin America time?
Yeah, LAT.
So it was 45 minutes ago they were supposed to be here, and they're not here. I'm going to shut this off, and next time I turn this back on, we'll be doing either the car or going back home.
That's right.
So we're here, and I have my translator here, John. I have no idea what we're doing yet, but I know this car. It's kind of crazy. I travel, how many miles from home? 6,000 miles from home to work on a Pontiac Sunfire. I know this car. This is like the back of my hand. It's a car that we have back home, which is kind of crazy. It's a quad 4 engine. The only thing I've done so far is I heard it start, and it doesn't sound good. It sounds like it's a bad engine, but I want to prove it, and I don't know, that's where we're at. I really can't get a good history as to what happened. She said it was making noise and then shut down, but that's as best I got. So I'll keep you focused on the engine. All right, we got this. Obviously, battery doesn't belong in this car, but at least we're cranking, so that's a good thing. So I'll let you listen to it. When I first got to this, guys, it tried to start and it sounded horrible. Now maybe it sounded horrible because it hasn't been run in a while. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's see what year this is. Hey John, this is in Spanish. I need you to help me here.
Says I could probably help you too.
Give me the year of the car.
I need that carro.
Okay. It's a 99. All right, so here's the other weird thing. This is a 99 model year, and I don't know if it's OBD2. All I have is a little code reader with me. Let me go look underneath the dash real quick. Hopefully, I don't even know how to do this. Let's go read. Codes. No codes. Can I go? Do I have data? Freeze frame, VIN. Man. No codes. So that's all I got, man. Okay, I'm thinking RPM signal, cranking. Do we have it? I don't see it. Do I have a check engine light on? Yes, I do. Where do we start? Spark, fuel, compression. Engine sounded horrible. Let's see if we have an RPM signal up under the hood, maybe at the ignition module next. John, would we have any kind of flammable substance? Brake clean, carb clean.
Okay, él me tiene un líquido que está inflamado.
So I can spray it in the air cleaner and see if this thing will run.
¿Tiene?
Starting fluid.
Contact cleaner?
Yes.
Contact cleaner?
Yeah.
Inflamable.
Yeah.
Algo inflamable. Sí, sí.
The main thing is I can't check fuel pressure, and I have no way to verify fuel, but that would tell me if I'm missing fuel.
He's gonna check. Do you know? ¿Sabes si hay un líquido que tiene inflamable?
Contact cleaner?
Sí, tiene.
No, yo no tengo.
¿Ella tiene? Like gasoline?
Yeah. I need something to spray in. Gasoline's a little. I can't spray. I mean, I guess I've always.
Like hairspray?
It's not flammable enough.
No.
Unless it was in an aerosol can. If there was a pump, nah. And aerosol, maybe. We could dump a little gasoline into the throttle. That's
super dangerous.
Well, we just need to be super careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Do you want to come with me? We can buy something.
Actually, I don't. I'm gonna stay.
Okay.
Tell
me what you want me to buy, and I'll go get it. I
don't want you to buy anything yet. Just give me a minute. I'm gonna go in a different direction.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what's our best.
No problem. If you think of something, tell me. We can walk down. He'll show me where we can get something.
All right. I'm gonna do another check first before we go anywhere. I'd really rather not travel. So. I don't have a flammable source to check for fuel. I don't have a fuel pressure gauge, so I'm going to take my trusty Vantage, which I brought with me, and I'm going to look for an RPM signal at this ignition module. It's fortunate that I know this system. Right here at this connector, my crank signal comes in. It should be purple and yellow. Yellow wire on the end. Solid. Nice, huh? Jake brake. Solid purple here. I can check that. Or the other one is this purple white wire. The nice thing about doing cars for a long time is this wire is your computer signal. The ignition module takes that signal, sends it to the computer. So if I have an RPM signal here, that at least tells me I have a crank signal that's there. And so that's what I'm gonna do first. Can I get John? Yeah. You or your friend here to crank this for me?
To turn the.
Yep. So we'll see if we have a square wave here. This will give me good direction. When you're ready. Okay. As you can see, we have a signal. So I'm leaning more again toward fuel, and so there's multiple ways we can do this. I'm pretty sure we're not going to get lucky enough that I can go beat on the gas tank and make this fuel pump run. I would look like a hero if that happened.
That would be great.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
We could try that next. All right, so I have an RPM signal. I'm not going to pull that off and check for spark. I think it's fuel related. Sorry. Let's see if we can. I'm worried about leaving the key on. Let's see if we can manually energize this pump, and then I'm gonna go underneath and beat on the gas tank.
No, lo
Spanish?
It's English. My fuel pump relay is this middle one right here. Missing one here. So it'll be this one. Nice that they gave me a picture, so 30 and 87. And then we look underneath. There's 30 here, 87 here. So my top right, bottom left is my pump circuit.
Tres hijos y una hija. Todos de ellos están ahí. Pero él está emocionado.
Top right, bottom left, 30 and 87. So I need to make sure that these don't cross each other. We'll just do a little wrap. Okay, like that.
Otra vez. Sí, sí, sí. Sí.
Por muchos años yo iba a la iglesia todo el tiempo, pero nunca estaba contenta en la iglesia.
Okay.
Okay. ¿Por qué? ¿Cuál fue el problema?
Porque no me sentía tranquila en ninguna iglesia.
Now I have two test points.
Sí.
Y ahí
Porque había
You guys can see that.
diferentes.
I'm going to take a voltage reading in those two spots and see if we have control here. This one, that one has power right now, and this one should not. Okay, and that should be the one that has power when we crank it. Go ahead, crank it. Okay, and I do have power to my pump. You turn the key off. I don't like that my cooling fan's running all the time.
Sí, deben de
But I believe our pump is not turning on. I'm gonna go in the back and I'm gonna beat on the tank while he's cranking it.
Okay. Mientras está haciendo lo mismo, él va a estar allá.
Sometimes we can get the pump to sometimes you get the pump to run. Now that's not the fix. If this works, you'll need a fuel pump, but this will at least give us direction. Okay, that tank
Is empty?
it sounds empty though. That's really nice.
So if you want,
It's showing a half a tank, but
No, pero eso no trabaja, es no work.
oh, she says it doesn't work.
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Let me explain this.
So she's known that her gas gauge doesn't work.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
I'm pretty sure our tank is empty. Not sure I heard the pump run, but we need to go get some gas.
Okay. Let's go get some.
We got an empty.
Vamos a comprar gas.
We got an empty.
¿Tiene un contenedor? Vamos. Hang on 1 second. We'll get some gas.
Okay, cool. I'll just.
Sprite?
Nope.
No?
We're good. So my friend is running to get me some gas, so I don't have an interpreter here anymore, which is okay. But I'm gonna do while they're gone. Hey John, this battery was almost dead on that last crank. Does she have a battery charger while you're gone that we could put this on a charge? No? Wow, this is tough, man. Battery's almost dead. Here's my thoughts right now, guys. I'm gonna do an amperage measurement right here on this pump. And when I was doing my checks before, so there's my jumper. When I was doing my checks before, I needed the key on for power to be there. So I have to turn the key on. And I brought an amp probe with my conversion here, but I didn't bring my converter for this. So internal amperage, I could do that. And internal amperage is actually going to make this a little easier. What we do is we put our meter in series. Top right, bottom left. There's going to be a question of my meter. Is my fuse good in my meter? Oh, my tool is acting up too. Okay, so we go the old Vantage, go to the amp port, COM port, and hopefully my fuse is not blown. I'm in luck. For whatever reason, I brought fuses with me. Cool. Fuse looks good. My meter keeps shutting off. In fact, as soon as I did that, oh man, come on. I had this before where my battery contacts were bad. That's what it is too. I'll have to fix that later. One of you guys were actually just asking me about that. The contacts, the top and bottom. There was a solder joint, if I remember, and I pulled it apart and fixed it years ago. It looks like I might have to do that again. All right, multimeter. We're gonna go channel 1. Show you what I'm doing, and we're gonna pick a heck of a glare. Change up our backdrop here. I'm gonna pick amps, okay, and my conversion for what I'm doing, nope, I'm not using a amp probe, just straight amperage. We'll go to 10, and my meter is in series right now to this pump circuit. I'm afraid to crank this. Oh, I don't need to crank it. I just need to turn the key on. Hold on. I think you guys can see that. It's pretty dusty. Turning the key on. Nice. I got 5 amps of current flow. You guys see that? That is awesome. All right. I think we get some gas when we get this, be able to get this car to run. Conserving our battery life here. And I'm gonna shut this camera off and wait until we get some fuel before I do any more tests. All right, so while I'm waiting for my friends to come back with some gasoline, if this car ends up running, for sure the ultimate fix is going to be to get the gas gauge fixed. It's reading a half tank now, pretty typical GM, but that's the whole float and sending unit. Not much of a repair video if it ends up being just an empty tank of gas. I didn't like the way this thing sounded when it started for a second and then shut off. It didn't sound good, so we'll see how this goes. The car's been sitting for a while though. The tires flat in the back and there's dust all over it, but it's pretty dusty here. So I'm really trying to gauge how long the car's been sitting, I guess. I don't know. See how it goes. We get some fuel in this. So still waiting for fuel. And neighbor just pulled up, and I was talking with him, well, attempting to talk with him. And I mentioned, I pointed to the back of the tank, and I said fuel, and it was funny. He shook his head and he was laughing at me, and he said something about belt, and we were talking, and he said chain. So we're both on the same page with the timing chain. I heard a noise that I didn't like when it initially started, but I can't get the engine to run, and I was trying to explain to him, which is kind of funny when you don't speak the same language. I was trying to explain that I don't have the ability to check fuel pressure, and my hands are tied, and I don't have any kind of fuel source, so I'm having my guys go get gasoline, and you know, that's kind of a starting point. But I think really after talking with the neighbor, that I'm really suspecting the chain as well. I think this car's been sitting for 2 years. 2 years. So we will see. I don't think this is going to be as simple as putting gasoline in it. In fact, if we put fuel in this tank, I have maybe 1 or 2 cranks left before this battery's dead. So we'll see what happens. It was kind of cool talking with the neighbor. I'm pretty sure he was laughing at me though. You know, probably, yeah, language barriers, that's what you get. All right guys, we put about 1 gallon of fuel in this. I still have this jump. I'm just going to turn this pump on. I'm gonna turn the key on. All right, so I'm hoping I get enough battery life here. I'm just turning the key on. And that's the unfortunate part here, guys, of not being able to check fuel pressure. Battery's dead, did not even try to start. I don't really have a choice right now other than to charge this battery. Am I at the point where I call a timing chain just based off symptoms? Man, it's so tough, man. It's so tough. What other test can I do? Darn it, I gotta charge this battery. All right, so we got this battery charged up. We actually used my friend's car here, a friend of a friend, and actually what he had was a check engine light on his car. I probably should have filmed that too. And he had a coolant sensor code. Anyway, different car. But we put some gas in it. Battery's kind of charged. I'm gonna use a little bit of contact cleaner. That's what they found at the store. It is flammable. Hey John, inflammable. Inflammable means it is flammable. Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
I know that sounds weird.
Inflammable. Inflammable. Mm-hmm. Say that again.
Inflammable is flammable in English.
Gotcha. All right. So inflammable. It's flammable. I'm gonna spray some of this in, and hoping that we can hear this engine run. Unfortunately, here's where I'm at. If this car doesn't start, I'm pretty much done. The neighbor heard the chain rattle. I heard an initial rattle in that I did not like the sound of. Don't have a compression gauge with me. I don't have my fancy equipment to check top dead center compared to ignition timing. We could do a lot of stuff. I just don't have it. Let's see how this goes. Sprayed it. I'll let you guys listen to the engine.
Can I do anything?
No, there's nothing else I can do.
No?
No, I mean, I got a battery that we just put that on charge for 15 minutes. You saw I got a half a crank out of it. Even if I had the right equipment, I can't work.
What's your best guess on what you think?
My best guess on what I heard when I first started this car and the sound that I heard is it's a chain. It's a chain or engine itself.
Cadena o todo el motor. So it's an expensive.
And the thing is, here's the thing with a chain issue, and maybe we'll get all of us in this shot, but the issue right now with all of this is if this is a chain that's keeping this, let's say the chain jumped from a tensioner, that's what the neighbor thinks is a tensioner.
Which you think is likely or possible?
Yes. With the tensioner that jumps, the chain jumps, and now our timing's off, and the car will never start. So you need a really good charged battery to finish your tests.
Okay.
I don't have a fully charged battery, not even close.
And you get a lot more tests?
I have a lot more tests to do. Not a lot more, a few more, but I don't have the stuff to do it.
Yeah.
And really, it would be take this cover off, pull a couple of spark plugs out, take a reading of compression, and that hopefully.
But if you had your tool.
Hopefully, and here's the thing with that test. Sometimes you can have a chain that's off that makes the engine not start, that your compression can be good, and you have to verify it other ways, which means more cranking, and that's not going to happen.
Es complicado. ¿Qué tiene? Más o menos.
And the main issue is.
I said you have a lot more tests, but you don't have enough power, and you don't have all your tools. Pero es más complicado que una cosa sencilla. It's more complicated than simple.
And my recommendation, honestly, it's kind of hard to recommend without hearing the engine.
Sin escuchando el motor, es difícil.
Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure, and these guys will catch me on this. I'm pretty sure that if this chain jumped, it bends the valves in the cylinder head.
I don't know.
That means it's a big jump. Okay. And this may not be worth it.
The car itself.
The car itself may not be worth it. I don't know what the repairs cost down here.
Porque el problema es más caro que
because of the valve damage and the cylinder head damage, if that chain let go.
Si hay mucho daño, si hay mucho damage,
and real quick, real quick to you guys, when I sprayed some fuel in there and I had the pump running, didn't even try to start.
But I mean, that's confirmation with two people saying the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not bad, but maybe at this point it's like selling car for parts.
Yeah. I hate making that kind of call with
Prematurely.
It's premature. I know some.
Diciendo esto, demasiado antes, tiene que hacer más pruebas. Entonces no quiere hacer recomendaciones todavía.
Here's
Es posible, probablemente.
Can you ask her why she parked it for so long? Was it because of the noise?
Okay.
Because that's really where what I'm.
Quiere saber por qué ella también está por mucho tiempo aquí. Porque el sonido.
Was it because of the noise? It was loud, and that's why she.
Porque el sonido es muy fuerte.
Where'd that Gatorade go?
Ya no le
Yes. You bought me some Gatorade.
Sí.
That is why she parked it. That noise. And that's enough for me, John. Seriously, you think so? Yeah, absolutely. All right, and to you guys, the main thing I'm putting weight with this, as far as where we're going and why we're stopping. She parked this car because of a very loud, I'm going to call it very loud, sound in the timing chain area. Gracias. And then she hasn't driven it since.
been like 2 years.
Yeah, and I think you guys heard the rest of what we were talking about. Some of you are going to say, well, why didn't you check for spark? I don't need to check for spark because of the noise that she's describing. I'm not concerned about spark for this. Yes, I could pull the cover off and verify spark on this system, but I have an RPM signal. Spraying fuel into the intake made no difference. And we have a very loud noise complaint. Neighbor says it's the chain. I am in agreement, and unfortunately, that's as good as I can do right here with what I have and the equipment I have and really knowing when to stop. And there's no reason for me to spend 2 more hours and go to the store and find a compression gauge, if we can even find one, only to come back with a dead battery. Yeah, I'm just not doing it. We're done. I apologize that it wasn't better. This is what it is though sometimes. So from Panama, next time I come here, I'm going to learn how to speak the language because I can't do this kind of thing without speaking the language. You guys, a lot of props to you guys that use the basic tools. I'm spoiled a little bit.